Um, well, I guess there's a case of lead poisoning in the water in Flint, man, or toxic levels of lead. And I don't know. I've made a few videos, man, in the last few months. I was like, man, dude, my brain just, man, feels so foggy. And another side effect of lead, heavy metals, is it interferes with brain functioning. And you can actually have memory loss, like amnesia like symptoms from lead poisoning. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm lead poisoned, but sure heck's hope not. But and then I've been filming these chemtrails, like heavy trails, dude. I mean, this is just undeniable. And they say that these things are made out of barium salts and aluminum. So this is more lead, man, or not lead, but heavy metal. Add aluminum with some lead poisoning. You know what I'm saying? Now, what effect does that have on someone's mind, man? And then what was the other one, man? All right, there's the aluminum, and then the fluoride. The fluoride, man. For some reason, that stuff binds with the metal. I mean, or it corrodes the metal. Either way, you get these chemical reactions, man. It's like sometimes when you, like, that's what they're saying is causing it's corrosive. The corrosiveness of the water is wearing away the lead pipes, and we've had a couple. Our water's been shut off twice in this area for pipes busting, and this hasn't been in the last few months. So I mean, I don't know. Is there a connection there? I mean, I'm not sure if we get Flint water out here. I mean, I'm kind of out in Mount Morris, but it's close enough that should be worried about it, and not only just that. Yeah, I'm always complaining about how like people, man, seem to have like lower attention spans, uh, and they're always like just seeking out the easy entertainment, man, and that would make sense if they were. It's like, man, why don't people notice none of this stuff? Why don't they have the energy to pursue it? Well, if they're all lead poisoned, you know what I'm saying? They can't. Their minds are not functioning properly. I mean that could explain some of this stuff we see going on. I mean, maybe this is more widespread. Maybe this is intentional. Even though this is a very industrial area, there's been a lot of generations of poisoning things in different ways. Like you could even think of the logging industry. Way back in the 1800s, they used to like use mercury to coat the logs and keep them. It was like a preservative or something, dude. They used to do stuff like that, and they poison whole ecosystems, like, and no one would ever even know about it. Uh, that's just how little we knew or how little they knew at the time what they were doing with the environmental stuff. I mean, and now, I mean, like that aluminum is coming from them changing the environment. Like we got something called global darkening, and it's partially probably from the volcanic activity, but to a large extent, it's from all them chemtrails we see from day to day, them chemtrizzies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure, I'll go out there in a few hours, there'll be chemtrizzies. They're probably out there right now outside. But what the weirder aspect, well, here, let me go back to an older story. Probably in about 2001. I painted some buildings over on the north side called Shalloy Commons. And then I remember a few years after that, I remember hearing them talking about in that area how they found high levels of lead in the ground. So, and they were trying to, make this like a kids area, kid safe area, and it's heavy lead in the area. Later they come to find out. So, I mean, stuff like this has happened before. I mean, and maybe it's been kind of dumbed down that these things happen so people wouldn't think about it for a while, just long enough to get enough in you to damage you. And they've done this. You watch Seeds of Evil, Monsanto, I think it's called, and it shows how they poisoned a bunch of whole community with this BPH stuff, man. And basically, as they're all dying of cancer, they're now that they're have to pay these settlements. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, who cares if you make this big settlement after you're dying of cancer? You know what I'm saying? After they've poisoned you intentionally, basically, or yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you did it by accident. It's still intentional, because when you're dealing with substances that you should be careful with, there's no way people should be getting hit with them. Just like there's no reason we should have fluoride in the water. You know what I'm saying? Especially that industrial grade, just waste product that they say is for something else. And this is a contributing factor with the heavy metals. Like, supposedly the fluoride and the metals can bind and even make a more toxic soup that that slowly wears down your body. You know what I'm saying? It just slowly kills your waste elimination system of the body, and then after that gets all bogged down, now the higher levels of metals in the brain more affect there, more brain damage, which then is even going to lead to worse functioning of the organs, and then it's just going to overload them, and then they'll just shut down 10, 15, 20 years before they were supposed to. And no surprise here that this is going on. I'm not surprised to hear that. And plus, you got to look at all these environmental accidents on purpose. Which fresh water source hasn't been targeted by some kind of accident in the past 2 or 3 years? Just look into that. Then look into Water Wars, Blue Gold, the Blue Gold Jesse Ventura episode, and you'll find out that there's an effort to basically they want to hoard enough free water to survive, poison the rest of the waters, and then they can charge you, the price of gold for water, just to live, and that's a real agenda. You can look into the Nestle Corporation, the CEO of Nestle, on that. But here's the real conspiratorial part about this water thing. On the radio, there's a Banana 101.5 that's like it's a rock station in Flint. And at least a year ago, they had this commercial, this little skit, where they talk about the third eye. And then they said, "Oh, you must be drinking the Flint water." And I mean, this kind of reminds me of like the cartoons coming out like 3 weeks before Robin Williams supposedly died. I mean, I think that was a shit hits the fan extraction, and they took him into the dumbs. And now he's down in the dumbs living, and he like probably does like little plays of Miss Doubtfire for the elites down there or something, but I don't know, I could be wrong on that. But they telegraphed his death on a couple different cartoons and a couple different references. Before he died, they leaked it out. So it's almost like people on the inside get leaked stuff that's going to come out later. Almost like there's like they take a section of society to the side. They pretend to be just regular cats, but really they're in the know because they're in the circles of the Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Sustainable Development, North American Union types. You know what I'm saying? And they're privy to the agenda. So they're like, one of the reasons for predictive programming isn't just to rub it in your nose. Really what it is, it's supposed to go over, those that are not in the nose head, so that through suggestion, that it's like, in a way, they pre-position ideas in your mind through suggestion. So when they happen in real life, you're more likely, like, listen, if it's the first time it ever happened, the first time you ever heard that, you make a stink about it. But if a few times you've been suggested to it on a movie, and you're even unaware that it's been suggested to you, or you see it on a TV show, hear it on a radio commercial, when it really happens, like, the shock ain't there, because you've subtly been disarmed, man. You know what I'm saying? Or softened, pre-softened to the idea. And like I said, man, you can look in Virginia. They spilled this chemical, and they had flaming water coming out of the tap water. They spilled some kind of coal stuff in Colorado River. You got the cisterns in the Ohio. Uh, uh, that's just a couple that I remember off top. But I mean, there's a lot more Corexit situation. And listen, look at that word Corexit. And this is the stuff that they use to clean up the BP oil spill. But really don't clean it up. It just poisons the ocean and it drops the oil to the bottom of the ocean. But just break that name down. Corexit. That's how it's spelled. Corexit. Corexit. Now, what the funk is that really? What does that mean? Core exit, like the Earth's core, exit the core. I mean, there's even a deeper, maybe dark, sinister agenda even behind that. Even though it is a dark, sinister agenda anyway. Just the fact that they purposefully did that. They did that intentionally because they'd make more money on the cleanup than they would on the oil. And the Jesse Ventura BP oil spill episode is a good one that just gives you a good overall breakdown on that situation. And there's some evidence that a lot more it was done intentionally. And if you see who owns the cleanup crew, it's Halliburton. It's the same people that make all the supplies for the wars going on in the Middle East over the oil. And the same companies, they got the military arm, but they also got their mercenary arm, which it's the same company, but just, some of the people work officially, and then these other people work unofficially, but yet they're working from each side of the game towards the same goal. World takeover, world conquest, martial law, police state. Basically, that's what that all boils down to right there. And this is one of the ways that, this is the nudge program. I mean, look, you can only take so many hits, environmental hits, to where, I mean, the strain on everyday individuals, not to mention, they don't even know the chemical strain that they're under. They just probably just think, oh, what's wrong with me? I must not do this or I must not do that. But really, it's no, man. It's not your fault. This was done to you intentionally. It's part of dumbing people down by any means. It's like, all right, we won't take your vaccinations, your vaccination death shot. Well, all right, well then we'll just put some lead in the water then, and then we'll get rid of you one way or another. We'll dumb you down one way or another. You got to breathe, so we'll get some of that aluminum in you through the chemtrail. I mean, and then, you got to drink. There was already fluoride in it, but they were like, man, this isn't working fast enough. Here, let's get some lead up in there now. So, I don't know, man, if it's just conspiracy or if it was just an accident always waiting to happen. But as far as that aluminum goes, that's not by accident. That's intentional. That fluoride is intentional either way. And this is a new new element to add to an already nasty brew.